Hello children. Today I Kahaniwali Nani am going to tell you a funny story. And the story is The Lion in the Cage. Listen children. This is a story about Akbar and Birbal. Birbal was a courtier in the court of Mughal Emperor Akbar. Birbal was very wise and intelligent and humorous too. He could not bear injustice and he could solve difficult problems very easily. Akbar trusted him the most. Now, once it was during the winter season, was sitting in his court along with his courtiers. Just then, one of his guards came in and bowed down in front of Akbar. He said, "Your Majesty, a messenger from the king of Persia wishes to see you." Akbar said, "Oh, a messenger from the king of Persia, my friend. Bring him immediately." Now, the guard came in with the messenger. The messenger bowed down in front of Akbar and said, "Your Majesty, the great King Akbar, our king has sent a gift for you and also a letter." Akbar saw two other men carrying the gift. They kept the gift on the ground. It was covered by cloth. The messenger handed over the letter to Akbar. Akbar began reading the letter. He was smiling when he began reading and looked a little worried when he finished reading the letter. You know what was written in the letter? Yes, it was. The letter was written like that. "My friend, the great Mughal Emperor Akbar, my regards to you. I am well here, and so are my subjects, and hope the same for you and your subjects. Remember, last year you sent a puzzle to be solved, and my courtiers solved the puzzle. This year, I am sending a challenge for you and your courtiers. See, I am sending an artificial lion in a cage, and all what you all have to do is to take the lion out of the cage, but mind you, without breaking the cage or touching the lion. Okay, with regards, the ruler of Persia, your dear friend." And the messenger removed the cloth covering the cage. Seeing the lion, many courtiers were scared. The lion's eyes were scary and the mouth was open wide as if it would jump out and eat someone. And some of the courtiers began running here and there. The lion was looking real. Akbar looked at the lion and said, "Wow, what a beautiful masterpiece, I must say. It looks real." And then he laughed and said, "No one need to be afraid. This is an artificial lion, not a real one. Listen, the king of Persia sent this lion and he has kept a challenge in front of us that we have to remove the lion from the cage without touching the cage or the lion or breaking the cage." And then he said, "Can any one of you solve this challenge?" He said to his courtiers, "Every time you all have a complaint that I always give preference to Birbal to solve problems. This time I ask every one of you except Birbal to come forward and solve this." He looked towards Sukhdevji and said, "How about you, Sukhdevji? Come forward." Sukhdevji came forward and said, "Thank you, Your Majesty." He went near the cage. He carefully examined the cage and the lion and began thinking. Again, he looked at the cage and the lion and then he started scratching his head. And when he found no solution, he shook his head and quietly took his seat. One by one, all the courtiers came, but none of them could bring the lion out of the cage. Oh, only Birbal is left. I hope he shall solve this problem, thought Akbar. He turned toward Birbal and said, Birbal, now it's your turn. Have you a solution? And what did Birbal say? He said, Thank you, Your Majesty. Let me try. Now Birbal got up from his seat and he went towards the cage. He looked at the cage and the lion, carefully observed the lion from all the sides, and then a big smile appeared on his face. Seeing Birbal smiling, Akbar thought, I think now Birbal has got a solution. And what did Birbal say? He said, Your Majesty, please ask one of the guards to bring 2 red hot iron bars. They should be very, very hot, sir. What? 2 red hot iron bars? Birbal, what are you going to do with them? Akbar asked. Birbal answered, Your Majesty, we will soon know about it. Just wait and watch. And Akbar ordered his guard to bring 2 red hot irons. The guard brought 2 red hot iron bars and gave it to Birbal, saying, Sir, be careful, the iron bars are very, very hot. Birbal took the iron bars and thanked the guard. And children, do you know what Birbal was going to do? Actually, everybody in the court, even the messenger of Persia, was just thinking what Birbal was going to do with the 2 iron bars. And what did Birbal do? He held the iron bars near the lion, the red hot iron bars. And soon what happened? The lion began melting, and after some time the cage was empty. There was no lion in it. Birbal looked at the Persian messenger and said, Sir, see, the lion is no more in the cage. I have brought him out without touching the lion or the cage. Seeing this, everybody in the court, including the messenger from Persia, started clapping their hands and congratulating Birbal. Now Akbar was curious. He said, Birbal, can you explain the whole thing? And Birbal said, Your Majesty, actually, when I closely observed the lion, I found out that it was made out of wax. And then thought that wax can be melted by something hot. So I ordered for 2 hot iron bars. And the rest you have all seen yourself how the wax melted and flowed out of the cage. Well done, people. Akbar patted him on his back. And the messenger from Persia said, Actually, really, I must say, Birbal is very, very intelligent, and our Majesty really wanted to test him. Really, Your Majesty, Emperor Akbar, Birbal is a precious jewel of your court. Hats off to Birbal. And Akbar, he handed a bag full of gold coins to Birbal, saying, Here, Birbal, here's your gift, your reward. So, children, you must have well understood that good common sense and keen observation can solve many problems. And so, children, how did you like the story, The Lion in the Cage? And children, you can hear more such interesting stories on my YouTube channel of Kahaniwali Nani. You should subscribe and press the bell icon so that you never miss a new story from me. If you like the story, press the like button and send your comments too. You can share the story with your friends by clicking on the share icon. And we'll meet you again next week with a new story. Till then, goodbye. Take care.